the woman, do you have a pocket digital recorder? And she said, well, I think so. I said, well, I was over there. I don't see him. But then she was very courteous, and she went over and she pulled one right off. I think it was the last one. She pulled it right off the rack. So, so I have a Olympus. What is the model here? Not Harry, but Kenneth, what is the frequency? This is a VN7200 digital voice recorder. Ooh, I feel so privileged. Anyway, so Harry's gone to do his business, and let's see. This is K1LEM for ID. Let's see. Well, we've talked about military pay. We've talked about philosophically in a short, I think rather depressing kind of situation that the capitalist system has increased the human population to a point now where even if we wished to avoid war, wished to share equitably the resources of our planet, we couldn't do it. Why? Because there's not enough resources, and the pigs are taking too much. So you would have to decrease the standard of living in the Western world, and you know, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. We're going to fight over it, and we're going to let the little children, the little black children in Biafra, we're going to let them starve to death because, you know what, they don't matter anyway, right? As long as we can have strawberries in the morning with real Vermont maple syrup on it, what do we care about starving little black babies in Biafra? We don't. Oh, so much for compassion, huh? And the knowledge of the overall human condition. Anyway, Mr. Blisters, go ahead. This is Percy, and this is Dr. Percy, and I'm sending it back to you. KB3MZQ, K1LEM for Mike.
K1LEM, this is and I'm very impressed with your signal today. You know, it seems like as we approach
I want to give a wave of the tail and a sniff of the backside to Franny also. And thank you for letting me do that. You know, you can have a whiff of the tail there, Franny. That's what you like to, that's the part of the body you like to go to most. So anyway, yes. You know, it's funny the way the mind works. Because I like our little on-running discussions here in the morning because it makes me remember stuff as I hear you speak. And thoughts come to my mind that I had since forgotten. Incidents that I thought I had forgotten actually do come forth to my mind. And but in any event, I think probably with Stan, the whole world, according to Stan, it's already gone to hell in a handbasket. And it's retribution of man's descent and his his great father in the sky, you know, that we spurned our great father in the sky, and this is just our just reward. Not realizing, of course, that man has created every single friggin' thing that's here. Society has been created by man, and if it could be created by man, then it can also be modified by same, right? Just a question of your desire to go do it and political pressure to go do it. In the future, after we've had several nuclear holocausts, or maybe at least one, I think we'll have to have at least one nuclear winter. You know, something's got to come out of that, right? I don't know that we'll go back to the Stone Age. We might. Possible. But anyway, if there were a true wise man, we would have world socialism. We would. We'd have world government and world socialism. We would. And we'd have to get along, too. We couldn't just put somebody down because they had a skin color that was different than ours or whatever. We would have to understand, you know, the big picture, which is always out there. You know, the big picture in the sky. But anyway, Harry, are you back yet? K1FXK and Company, K1LEM. I'm not talking about anything, really.
If I have something to say, I will. This is K1FXK. Back to you, Yanni.
Yanni? Who is that? If you go to Moscow, and the father of communism, they have him in a glass. He died, I think, in the I don't know, when did he die? But anyway, they have him under glass. You can actually go and see his corpse. So I was trying to think of what his name is. He was the one that betrayed, you know, the Bolsheviks. He was the one that really betrayed them all. He betrayed the true socialists.
You don't mean Lenin, do you?
Eh?
Lenin?
Lenin, yes. It wasn't even an S. You see how far off I am?
Okay.
Yeah, Lenin. Yeah, Lenin. He was the politician that betrayed the Russians during the Bolshevik Revolution. Yeah, they got rid of the Tsar, and they were anticipating that there would be a more equitous distribution of wealth in the country, and people would at least not be starving to death. And the resources of Russia, its oil and its land and whatever natural resources it did have, that these would be used to profit everyone, and everyone would own equally in the fruits of what was Russia. And that's not what happened. Russia has never had socialism. It's never had socialism, and they were betrayed by Lenin. Lenin betrayed them. They brought him back from exile or wherever he was, and he betrayed them. And so there you go, and that's what started communism, the Soviet Union. Communism was nothing more than, you know, you either belong to the party or you don't. And if you belong to the party, you live like the politicians do here in this country, or those that play with Wall Street, gamble with money on Wall Street. And if you're on the outside of the party, then you live like a peasant, and you have to work like hell so that those at the top can all live in luxury. And if there ever is any resource like an oil well or anything like that, they're going to guzzle it all up. You're going to get anything out of it? Absolutely.
But even, I think probably with the
reserve of oil, and they're now starting to go to the Arctic and basically pollute up there with these portable wedding events.
I think probably
you think they're sharing
the whole world is going to stand. It's already gone to hell in a handbasket.
They're privately owned. And I can tell you that Putin is right at the top of the food chain. Putin and his friends. And Yeltsin and them.
And, but even, I think probably with the whole world is going to stand. It's already gone to hell in a handbasket.
Oh, but you know what? I wish that in the schools we would bring in a kind of global political science. Without
and, but even, I think probably with the whole world is going to stand. It's all already gone to hell in a handbasket.
Unbiased poli-sci course or an unbiased economics or whatever, but we don't have that because the professors would get canned. They get their asses reamed if they told the truth about what's really going on. Do you think that the pigs in this world want the little people to know that really they owe their soul to the company store? And by the way, I was thinking about this yesterday. That was on the radio. There's an old tune that came out in the 1950s. I forget who was saying it. It might have been Jim Adane. Anyway, he owes his soul to the company store. Yeah. Now, who is it that's making riches for the wealthy? Well, that's the people that are toiling, and the rich are getting even richer by selling goods to the workers who have to go back to work harder for the rich, and then they begin to owe their soul to the company store. Now, what is soul to the company store in American capitalism? You know what it is? It's called banks. It's called banks. It's called banks. B-A-N-K-S, banks. And you little people think that you're not being manipulated every day of the week by the intelligentsia on the top, which includes the media, the politicians, and the whole 9 yards. Yeah, give me a break. But anyway, Harry, so like I say, you know, we old guys, we got to be careful when we drink coffee because it could go down the wrong pipes, you know, and it could cause us at least to go out of commission there for a while. But you seem to have recovered, Harry. K1FXK in the group K1LEM.